Have you ever wondered why the more you do for a woman, the less interested she becomes? Why is it that when you give her all your time, energy, and attention, she pulls away? Here's the truth. Most men are told that to win a woman, they must chase her, prove their love, and always be available. They are taught to always say yes, always give more, and always try harder. It sounds sweet, right? But guess what happens when you follow this advice? She starts to lose interest. Not because she's mean, not because she wants to hurt you, but because chasing her too much makes you look like you don't value yourself. Let's look at it like this. Imagine you walk into a store and see something very expensive behind glass. It's rare. It's not easy to get. You have to earn it. You feel it has value. Now imagine someone runs out and throws that same item in your hands and says, "Please take it. I'll even give you more. Just don't leave me." Which one feels more valuable? The second one might seem desperate, right? That's what happens when you chase too much. You forget your own value. And when you don't see your value, she doesn't either. This isn't about playing games. This isn't about being mean. This is about real power, real self-worth, real confidence. The truth is, when you give too much, without her earning it, she doesn't feel lucky to have you. She feels like you're just trying to win her, and that kills attraction. Women don't want to be the prize. They want to be part of your world. A world that already has value, purpose, and strength. So here's the key. Stop trying to prove yourself. Start being yourself. Be a man who knows his time is precious. Be a man who gives love, but not just to anyone. Be a man who sees himself as valuable first. Because when you act like you need her to feel complete, she starts pulling away. But when you're already complete, she starts leaning in. So here's the big question. Are you willing to stop chasing so she starts craving? Why chasing her never works and makes you lose respect? Have you ever wondered why the more you chase, the more she pulls away? Why does it seem like the harder you try, the less she values you? Let's slow things down and talk about this. Most men are taught from a young age that if you want a woman to like you, you have to do more. Give her more attention, text her more, compliment her more. Always be available, always say yes, always try to make her smile, even if it means putting yourself last. This sounds nice, right? It feels like the right thing to do. You're being kind. You're showing interest. You're proving your worth. But here's the truth. No one wants to say out loud. The more you chase her, the more she sees you as someone who needs her approval to feel worthy. And the moment she senses that, something inside her changes. It's not about being mean. It's not about being cold. It's about what your actions tell her. When you chase, you are saying, "I'm not enough unless you want me back." When you overgive, you're saying, "Your attention matters more than my time, my peace, or my mission." And when a woman sees that you have no boundaries, she starts to lose a certain kind of respect for you, the deep kind that fuels long-term desire. Let's imagine this like a story. There are two men. One man is always available. He texts back right away. He gives her compliments every day. He never says no. He's always trying to please her. He puts her on a pedestal so high that he can't even see his own value anymore. The second man is kind, but calm. He's not rude. He's not cold, but he's focused. He has a life that matters to him. He answers when he's free. He gives when it's real, not just to win attention. He respects himself enough to walk away if he's not treated well. Which one do you think she ends up chasing in the long run? It's not because women want games. It's because women are deeply drawn to men who respect themselves and who show that through their actions, not their words. When you chase too much, you're giving away your power. Not because she's evil, not because she's trying to hurt you, but because no one can value a gift that's always being pushed at them. Think about this. If you're always there, always trying, always giving, she never gets the chance to miss you. She never gets to wonder, where is he? Or, why isn't he texting me today? There's no tension. There's no mystery. There's no reason for her to invest back into you. That's what this page is about. You have to stop chasing and start leading. Leading means you choose your path first. You let her follow if she wants. But you don't change direction just to make her stay. You stay in your lane, focused on your goals, your growth, and your peace. And that quiet strength is what pulls her in. So ask yourself right now, are you leading with calm power or chasing with needy energy? This one shift, choosing detachment over chasing, can change everything about how women see you. The real reason. She shouldn't be the center of your world. Let me ask you something. What happens when a man makes a woman the center of his life? At first it might feel sweet. He's always around. He always answers. He drops everything for her. But over time, something strange happens. She starts to pull away. Not because she's mean, not because she doesn't care, but because he stopped being the man she was drawn to in the first place. Here's the truth. Nobody tells you. A woman doesn't want to be the only thing that gives your life meaning. She wants to be a part of your world, not your entire world. Big difference. Imagine you have this big, beautiful life. You have goals. You have hobbies. You're chasing something important. And then she enters that world like a guest entering a castle. She looks around and thinks, wow, this man has something special. I want to be part of this. That's how real attraction works. But if you throw away your whole castle, if you make her the castle, suddenly there's nothing for her to admire. She starts to feel smothered. She gets bored. And she leaves, confused, not even sure why. Women don't crave a man who gives up his mission for them. They crave a man who is on his mission, with or without them. That's what builds respect. That's what makes you rare. When your life has purpose, it gives you strength. You walk differently. You talk differently. You're not desperate for her time because your time is already full. She feels it. She senses the power. That's when she starts thinking, I need to keep up with his life. I need to earn a place in his world. And that's the shift. Instead of chasing her, you're making her chase something greater, you with purpose. This isn't about ignoring her. It's about living your life so fully that she naturally wants to be close to it. And the more purpose you have, the more she feels like being with you is a gift. So now I ask you, are you ready to stop making her your world and start building one of your own? Why she shouldn't be your whole world? Let's talk about something big, something deep, something that will change how you see everything. Here it is. She is not supposed to be your whole world. And guess what? You are not supposed to be hers either. Now wait, that might sound a little cold, or maybe even mean, but it's not. It's real. It's wise. It's strong. Because when you make a woman your entire world, you give her a job she didn't ask for. You make her the center of your thoughts, the reason for your mood, the one thing you depend on to feel happy, alive, and good about yourself. And that's too heavy for anyone. You start doing things just to keep her close. You change your plans. You give up your hobbies. You let go of your goals. You stop growing as a man just to make her stay. And here's the part that hurts. That's when she starts to pull away, because you've lost your light. You've stopped shining. You've stopped being the man she was drawn to in the first place. She was attracted to you when you were focused on your path. She was interested when you were building something real. She liked you when your life had fire, and you invited her to join. But now she feels like you need her to survive. And that doesn't feel strong. It doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel attractive. Let's flip the script. What if your purpose came first? What if your mission in life was your compass? What if you woke up every day, not chasing a woman, but chasing your goals, getting stronger, getting wiser, building something that matters? And then, when you see her, it's not because you need her. It's because you want her to share in the life you're already creating. That's when things shift. That's when she feels pulled toward you again. Because now, you are rare. You are focused. You are not asking her to complete you, because you already feel complete. Women want to be part of a man's life, but they don't want to be the only thing in it. You must become the mountain, solid, centered, purpose-driven. And if she wants to climb that mountain and be part of your world, that's her choice. But you're not waiting at the bottom. You're already climbing, with or without her. Because your mission is bigger than one moment. Your purpose is not a woman. Your purpose is becoming the strongest man you can be. And when you live like that, love finds you. Not because you're chasing it, but because you've become the kind of man it chases. Scarcity makes you valuable. Let me tell you something powerful. What's everywhere is ignored. What's rare, what's hard to find, what's not always available, that gets noticed, that gets respected, that gets desired. Now imagine this. There's a man who is always texting, always calling, always available. He drops everything the moment she calls. He rearranges his whole life just to spend an hour with her. And then there's another man, calm, focused. He has a purpose, a life. He doesn't rush. He doesn't chase. He gives his time carefully because his time is valuable. Which man feels more powerful? Which one seems more rare? Which one would she respect more? It's the second man, every time, because that man is scarce. And here's the truth: scarcity creates value. If you walk by a field of wildflowers every single day, you stop noticing how beautiful they are. But if you find a single flower growing in a rocky desert, that one flower will blow your mind, because it's rare. It's not just everywhere. The same is true with you. If you're always available, always showing up, always giving without limit, she stops seeing you. Not because she's cruel, but because human brains are wired to value what's limited. When she doesn't hear from you every second, she starts to wonder. When you take your time to reply, she gets curious. When you say no to plans because you're focused on your goals, she thinks, wow, he has a real life. And that life, that energy of being busy, full, driven, it makes her lean in. It makes her want to earn your time. Because now you're no longer trying to prove you're worth her attention. You've become the attention. You've created space. And in that space, her attraction grows. But remember, this isn't about pretending to be busy. That's playing a game. It's about actually being busy with your life, being full, being focused, having real goals and real things that matter to you. It's not just strategy, it's strength. So let me ask you something. What if being less available made her more attracted? Would you have the patience to give her that space? Would you have the strength to let her feel your absence? Because when you do, she'll feel something she hasn't felt in a long time. Desire. That quiet pull inside her that makes her think, why do I miss him so much? It's because you're not just another guy chasing her. You're the rare one she hopes to catch. That's the power of scarcity. And on the next page, we're going deeper into something just as powerful: emotional mastery. The calm man wins. How emotional control makes you powerful. Let me ask you something simple, but powerful. Who do you trust more? The man who loses his cool when things don't go his way, or the man who stays calm even when the world is falling apart? Most people would pick the calm man, and that's not by accident. Emotional control is one of the strongest things a man can have. It shows power, it shows strength, and more than anything, it shows that you are in charge of your own mind. Women notice this. A man who can stay calm when she's upset, distant, or testing his limits, he stands out. She may not say it out loud, but deep inside, she respects it. And respect is a first step to deep emotional connection. Now here's the truth most men don't hear. You don't win a woman's love by being the most emotional or expressive. You win by being the most stable. You become the one she can count on, not just in the good times, but especially when emotions are high. Think about it. When a woman is feeling unsure or testing your patience or even saying something harsh, most guys react right away. They try to fix it. They get angry. They argue. But the Stoic man, he takes a breath. He watches, he listens, and he waits. That silence, that pause, that moment of stillness, That's power. You don't have to fight for attention. You don't have to beg to be heard. When you're calm and in control of yourself, you become magnetic. People want to be around you because your energy feels safe. And women? They want to feel safe with a man. Not just physically, but emotionally. If your emotions are flying all over the place, she doesn't feel peace. But if you're grounded, even when things are messy, she feels protected. Here's the key difference. Suppressing your emotions is unhealthy, but controlling your emotions is wise. It means you feel, but you don't let those feelings drive your actions. You lead yourself first, before trying to lead others. So how do you get better at emotional control? Take deep breaths before reacting. Walk away when needed, not to punish, but to stay in peace. Focus on facts, not feelings. Talk less when emotions are high. Wait until things are calm. And most importantly, remember your purpose. A man with purpose doesn't get thrown off easily. If he gets rejected, he keeps going. If someone disrespects him, he chooses peace over ego. He doesn't chase drama. He moves forward with clarity and calmness. Women don't fall for the loudest man. They fall for the man who doesn't need to say much. But when he does, they listen. That's the quiet power of the Stoic man. He doesn't prove himself through words. He proves himself through calm presence. So next time you feel the urge to argue, prove a point, or fight back with emotion, pause. Ask yourself, what would the strong, grounded version of me do right now? Because that version of you, that's the one she'll admire. That's the one she'll feel drawn to. And that's the one she'll want to work for. Emotional control isn't cold. It's powerful, and it's rare. Real confidence, not loud, but unshakable. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a man walk into a room quietly, and yet everyone turns to look at him? He doesn't say much. He's not showing off. He's not trying to be the center of attention. But somehow, he still stands out. Why? Because he has real confidence. Not the fake kind that's loud and full of talk. Not the kind that depends on expensive things, fast cars, or big muscles. This kind of confidence comes from a deeper place. It's quiet, it's calm, it's powerful. And most of all, it's real. Confidence isn't what you own, it's what you know. A lot of men think confidence means being rich, good-looking, or popular. But real confidence doesn't live in your stuff. It lives in your skills. It lives in your mind. It lives in your ability to say, I know who I am, even if no one else claps for me. Think about it. Would you rather be the man who needs the crowd to cheer, or the man who can walk alone and still feel strong? A man who needs approval from others will always feel empty. But a man who approves of himself, he's full, even when the world is silent. And that kind of man makes women stop and stare. Women are drawn to internal power. Here's the truth most men never hear. Women are not drawn to the loudest guy in the room. They're drawn to the one who seems like he's already full without them. When a man walks through life like he doesn't need anything to feel worthy, that's magnetic. Because women can sense when a man is chasing validation. And when a man already knows his own value, The first one tries too hard. The second one hardly tries at all, because he doesn't need to. And here's where the secret power lies. When a woman sees that you're good with or without her, she starts wondering what makes you so strong. She starts thinking about you more. She starts trying to figure you out. She starts working for your love. Where does that kind of confidence come from? It doesn't come from pretending. It doesn't come from acting tough or cold. It comes from competence, being good at something you care about. It comes from discipline, showing up for yourself even when it's hard. It comes from standards, knowing what you will and won't allow in your life. And most of all, it comes from keeping your word to yourself. When you say you'll do something and then do it, you grow. Every promise you keep to yourself is like adding another brick to your castle. It builds self-trust. And self-trust, that's the strongest form of confidence there is. Confidence isn't flashy, it's still, and it's strong. Real confidence doesn't have to speak loudly. It doesn't need to convince anyone. It just is. When you know who you are, when you love your own path, when you trust your own strength, that's when women start feeling pulled in. Not because you're showing off, but because you're showing them something rare, something they don't see often, something valuable. A man who doesn't need love to feel complete, but chooses it when it's real. That's a man worth chasing. That's a man worth working for. That's you, when you build from the inside out. The power of emotional mastery. Calm is magnetic. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever seen a man who doesn't react to drama? Like no matter how loud things get, no matter how emotional someone else becomes, he stays calm. He stays still. It's almost like he's unshakable. And because of that, people listen when he speaks. Women lean in closer, and he doesn't have to raise his voice to get attention. He just is powerful. Now ask yourself, what makes that man so magnetic? It's not money. It's not muscles. It's not charm. It's something deeper. It's something called emotional mastery. Let's break it down. Emotional mastery means this. You don't let your emotions control your actions. It doesn't mean you don't feel anything. You're not a robot. You're not cold. You're not ignoring how you feel. But it means when something happens, you stay in control. You don't text back in anger. You don't beg when you feel afraid. You don't explode when you feel jealous. You feel it. You breathe through it. You sit with it. And you choose your response like a king, not like a boy throwing a tantrum. This is rare. Most men were never taught this. They were told to bottle things up or explode when things get too much. But neither of those is strength. Real strength is being calm in chaos. Think of it like a storm. She might bring the wind. She might bring the rain. But you are the mountain. You do not move. You do not shake. You stand tall. And this is what makes you attractive. Not just to her, but to everyone. Because people feel safe around calm energy. People are drawn to it. They want to be near it. And women, especially women, they crave it. Not because they are weak, but because the world is already loud, fast, and messy. When you can stay centered in that mess, you become her anchor. Now here's the magic. When you master your emotions, you gain peace. And peace is power. Because nothing owns you. No text, no look, no silence, no mood. You are free. And from that place of calm, you don't chase anyone. Because you know, you don't need anyone to feel complete. That's the kind of man she wants to be around. That's the kind of man she wants to work for. Not because you demand it, but because you deserve it. But how do you build that peace? How do you learn to stay calm when it feels like everything is falling apart? On the next page, we'll talk about the daily habit that helps you become emotionally solid. Like steel on the inside, soft on the outside. Real confidence makes you irresistible. Let me tell you something powerful. Confidence, real confidence, is not about how you look. It's not about how much money you make. It's not about driving a cool car or wearing fancy clothes. Those things might look good on the outside, but they're just decorations. They're like wrapping paper. And guess what? Women don't fall in love with wrapping paper. They fall in love with what's inside. They fall in love with how you make them feel. And that feeling comes from one thing, your energy. Now listen carefully. There are two kinds of confidence. Fake confidence and real confidence. Fake confidence is loud. It brags. It shows off. It tries to impress. It says, "Look at me, I'm cool. I'm strong, I'm rich. Pick me, please." But here's the truth. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't have to say anything. It just walks into the room, and you feel it. It's the man who doesn't need attention. It's the man who doesn't chase. It's the man who is calm, grounded, and focused on his own path. And when a woman sees that, she feels it. She knows this man can't be shaken. She knows he's strong on the inside, not just the outside. And that strength, that stillness, that's what draws her in. Let me give you an example. Imagine two men walk into a room. One man talks loud, laughs loud, throws around money, flirts with every woman, and acts like he's the king of the world. The other man is quiet, calm, and focused. He smiles, but doesn't try to impress. He's not chasing. He's not showing off. He's just being. Now ask yourself, which man do you think she'll remember the most? It's not about who talks the most. It's about who feels the strongest inside. And that strength, that calm energy, that's real confidence. But here's the secret. You don't get real confidence by pretending. You don't get it by faking it. You get it by becoming it, by doing hard things, by keeping promises to yourself, by learning new skills, by building your body, your mind, and your mission. Because when you become capable, you start to feel powerful. When you know you can handle life, you stop trying to prove it to others. And that's when women look at you differently. Not because you're showing off, but because you're showing up. She can feel your power. She can feel your peace. And that's what makes her want to stay. She doesn't want a man who needs her to feel good about himself. She wants a man who feels good already and invites her into his world. That's the secret. That's what makes you rare. That's what makes her work for your love.